Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Wealthy Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Ward Powell. And if you're a dentist looking to crack the code on how to grow your practice and dominate in this space, then stick around. You're in the right place. Every week, we're sitting down with some amazing dentists who are doing incredible things in their businesses. We're talking about everything from how they keep their teams loyal and dedicated to how they stay ahead of the game in this crazy, fast-changing industry. You'll hear about hacks like using virtual assistants to free up your time, strategies to make more sales with less effort, and even mind-blowing stories about patents and inventions that are changing the industry as we know it. And it's not just about growing your practice, it's also about finding out what works from a clinical perspective. Whether you're just starting or you're ready to scale to the next level, there's something here for you. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in. All right. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Ashandra Batiste. We're so happy to have you. And I noticed that you had a somewhat of an accident in the pool when you were 11,
I did. I did.
and that's what sprung you into. I mean, you had to get actually some reconstructive surgery done, and that's what sprung your interest into dentistry. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I call that my villain origin story. It's I was 11, I was on a swim team and um I fell in and cracked my front two teeth. And the blessing in it was that I already had already been seeing the same dentist since I was probably around 3 or 4. And he came in and patched me back up, put me back together. And I mean, at 11, that's when you're starting to kind of like discover who you are. Like, are you, what version of yourself are you trying to be? And at that point in time, I was like, oh, I am that girl. I am sassy and smart and pretty and fun and, bossy. And how dare I hit the bottom of the pool and destroy, my confidence in like a millisecond, right? So my doctor was able to put me back together, and I'd already really liked going to the dentist. I had not had any terrible experiences. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So I do refer to it as my villain origin story, on when I decided what I was going to be. And naturally, and maybe for me it was natural, but naturally I wanted to be my own boss as well.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. So then, you're the largest uh, solo female private dental office in
Mm-hmm.
Houston.
I am.
About that story.
I am. So as far as being the largest solo black female practice owner, I mean, I've said this before, and I don't know why I get to be the first, but physical space is the largest. So I have another friend of mine who owns multiple locations, and she's got to be the largest private practice multiple location owner. But as far as physical space, 10 operatories, 4,000 square feet, solo owned, by a female, I am the first. I am the only in Houston.
Oh,
Um, which is great. I will take that. I will take that. It's not a weight that is too heavy for me to bear. It's something I'm very proud of. It's not easy to be this. And I doubt, because Houston is so big and because we are a medical based community, a lot of doctors, a lot of physicians, a lot of people in the medical field, it's probably kind of like there's no way that she's that or she's the only one. And it's like, yeah, it's just not that easy these days.
mm,
But it's not a hat that I say, I should be. I shouldn't be. It shouldn't be in 2025 where, I'm the one that gets to say that, right? I should be like, I'm the third, I'm the fifth, I'm the 20th, but no, it's not the case.
yeah, well, go ahead on. Shake your number one finger, right? You are the one. You are that girl, as they say. So,
They say.
so tell me, Tell me, what has been the I mean, like some of well, let's start with some of the hardest challenges to get to number one. What are some of the things that you've done to get you to that place? Because I know you've had some experiences, and how long have you been in the business?
So I graduated from dental school 18 years ago. So I've been practicing now 18 years. It'll be 18 years in June.
Mhm.
I've owned this dental practice for 14 years in September. So I did buy this practice. This was an acquisition. So I bought it from a previous owner, changed the name, obviously rebranded it in 2011, September 2011. And no, I mean there's nothing easy about this. There's nothing easy about running a business. And I tell people all the time that they're like, I want to work for myself. And I'm like, you never work for yourself. You are the last one to eat. You are the last one to get paid. You are if something's going wrong, you're the first one to hear about it. And you don't work for yourself. You end up working for your team members. You end up coming into work to work for your team members. You end up coming into work because your patients or clients need you. um those are things that I don't think that entrepreneurs in general talk about. It's this whole kind of rose colored glasses. Oh, I get to work for myself. Well, really, you're not working for yourself as much as you are working for, I have 20 team members, right? I have to show up to make sure that them and their families eat, right? And so although yes, the decisions and all that do fall onto me, I do think that's very important for people to understand that it's this kind of rose colored glass full thing of like, I work for myself is nice to say, but you are truly working to ensure that a team eats and a team gets fed. I do think that our journey, just in general, our African American female specifically journey into entrepreneurship and business ownership always feels like you're learning from failure instead of learning from someone who's preventing the failure from happening. And so I've definitely taken that on as like my current the way that I choose to attack my life that I have now with all my doctors. And I'm like, I'm going to jump in front of every barricade because I've already seen them all.
Mhm.
Uh, and if you're choosing to go down this path, then let me move that barricade for you that I had to go through, go over, go under, and make it easier for you. Because everything from how to file taxes, when do you file taxes, how do you pay them, how do you hire, how do you fire, what system should you have in place? Those are things that I had to learn the hard way. Um, and so my goal is for all of the doctors that work underneath me, if their choice is to grow their own space, which I will be their largest cheerleader, is to make sure that I remove some of those barricades. I can't remove all of them, but at least I can try to get in front of many of them.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You need a great, great, great mentor. So you didn't have any mentors.
So I will tell you that I think that that was, and I say that this as well, as I am very fortunate to have made it through without some significant mentorship. But I will also say that when you come out of dental school, no one is saying, "Hey, let me help you." You have to seek that, and they also don't prepare you for how hard many of the choices are, and so you come out and you're really good with your hands and you're super smart and you really have never, and I say this in very large italicized cursive, or as my youngest says, curly words, never have failed. It's like, oh, I can do this. I don't need to ask a bunch of people. There's the success is right there. This person has been successful. This person has been successful. So why can't I be successful? So I wasn't one that sought out mentorship at that time. I mean, you're talking about a 27-year-old, 28-year-old young woman. Like, that's not something that I felt at the time was necessary. Now, in hindsight, which is always 2020, it would have been nice to seek out some mentorship to actually get some of those stories and those experiences, the keys to the gate. I will also say this is that I do feel like although we're doing better as a community, we do not historically do so well with not being good gate, like being good gate, being very, very good gatekeepers. We love to keep that stuff close. And so who knows? I don't really remember. And I can't say, oh, I've had this experience where I asked a question and this, their backs turned on me. But I could imagine that may have been some things that I went through 20 years ago, right? Where it's like, how did you do it? Oh, girl, it's easy. Oh, okay, great, it's easy. I thought it was easy. And so no, I definitely will tell anybody today is to seek out mentorship. Seek out mentorship in many forms. Seek out mentorship from people who look like you, but especially for the people who don't look like you. Because that's where some of the gold can lie.
Mm, So different areas that you want to get mentorship from all sorts of people, and,
Yes.
and you really don't know who's going to give you that golden nugget, but
Yep.
hopefully most, if not the majority of them will. That's why you seek them, right? That's wonderful. I mean, like you have obviously blazed your own trail for, well, for 18 years, but 14 years as an owner operator. So did you go into any like classes for business? I mean, because business is different than the clinical, and you didn't come out with this business acumen. How did you manage to grow with that?
So, it's actually we talk about this all the time as dentists that have been out for years. And I still try to get my hands on and, discuss and talk with the kids that are in dental school right now. And they still don't talk about business, right? There's still not a lot of business discussions or, what is a P&L and what's a balance sheet? What's the difference? So no. They still don't. They didn't back then. I didn't. I didn't come out with any sort of additional knowledge. I do know for sure that some of my classmates majored in like finance or marketing or, and I do tell a lot of young docs or young people, if they're trying to go into dentistry, major in something that's really going to take you, if you choose to not be a dentist, but especially if you stay in dentistry, like major in something like business, major in something like finance, marketing, accounting, like all those things will help you with how your brain should tick. Now, most of those people aren't also dentists, right? We also tend to have a personality type, and most of us are not the business major accounting type.
Right.
So the the idea that that's kind of like a 2-in-1, like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type, most of us aren't able to do both. And so the thing about it is also dentistry, unlike other many businesses, yes, there's some things that are just business knowledge, it's business knowledge, but dentistry is a unique business skill because although it is a need, everybody needs a dentist, whether you have teeth, but especially if you don't, need to see a dentist. A lot of people don't believe that to be the case. And so, unlike if someone says, hey, I have a primary care doc, that's a requirement. Do you have a dentist? I go to wherever, right? Did they say you needed something? Yeah, but I'm not gonna get it, right? So there's a different way that people treat the dental world anyway that is different in general business. And so yes, when I got out, it was like, what can I learn? So of course I sharpened my toolkit regarding clinical dentistry, but then of course I also said, okay, after about 4 or 5 years out in the real world, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I started joining, like we call each other's Destiny's Child. My husband calls us Destiny's Child. It's me and 3 of my other best friends here in Houston. All of us have one point in time owned multiple or single practices. And we've been hooking up for years now. But then beside that, I have consultants and other people that come in and are able to look at my numbers, and we are able to have like full-fledged discussions regarding the business side of dentistry. And so now I'm much more astute. I know what numbers I'm looking at. I know the metrics. I know my KPIs. I know what my P&L looks like. I know what my overhead is. I know how to manage it. I know what to do when I need to. But that takes some hard skills, and it also takes you willing to do the hard work inside of also practicing dentistry, which is tough as well, right? So it's some late nights. My late nights, I don't have as many today as I used to, but yeah, like it's some heavy lifting.
Wow, not many people get to, do all of that on their own. They kids like just say, okay, I'm gonna not only handle the hard chores of dentistry, I'm gonna also do a solo on the whole business idea. Oh my God. I can imagine being up, burning the midnight oil on that, for many years probably. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So as you move through and navigate through your journey, what do you think has been the most pleasing?
Well, growth is the most pleasing. I'm always, there are days that this week was one of those weeks where I was like, you know what? If it burns down, I'm okay, right? Like it's fine. Like it's perfectly fine for it to burn down, and I will be okay. That was this week. But yesterday morning, my team did it was National Dentist Day, and they did the cutest video that was a surprise. And when I see the impact, I am incredibly grateful. Even in the hard, I'm still incredibly grateful. It could always be worse. And God has chosen me to impact not only my team members and their families, but every patient that walks in. And prayerfully, 99.9% of them are having amazing experiences in a place that they did not expect it, with
Mhm.
doctors and providers that did not expect to look like us and give them the type of quality treatment that they're getting. And so yes, is it tough? Of course, but the rewards definitely outweigh the risk, the exhaustion, the frustrations. I mean, if it was easy, as my dad says, everybody would do it.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's not easy, and so everybody can't do it. But yes, my greatest happiness comes from the fact that we are impacting lives, and I'm now impacting, you know, when I first opened, it was like five of us. And now I have a pediatric location, and I have this location, my flagship. So just to be able to continue to impact in a way that I would have never expected is in something I'm internally grateful for.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's why we wanted to hear from the lady herself and see exactly and hear exactly how she's done it for all of these years. So as you continue to move through your journey, what has been your some of your favorite I guess tools that you enjoy using and something that you see expanding on in the future.
Tools as far as help me.
Like for now, they have this 3D imaging,
Oh.
things of that nature.
So as far as clinically, I at this point in time, I'm really only doing a lot of implant dentistry and full mouth reconstruction.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I I don't in ortho, so I still do a lot of ortho. I think the greatest thing that has happened in dentistry is that the digital dentistry has come in and just morphed how we work, our margins of error, our simulations, our predictability of cases. So in my practice, I don't think that there's much that I don't have regarding technology, because the job itself is hard enough. Let's get everything in here to make it as easy as possible. And because I still do say that dentistry is an art, it's a science. It is us still practicing it. The only thing that I can tell a patient is, sweetheart, my friend, homeboy, like the only thing I can promise you is when I take a tooth out, it does not grow back. Nothing else in dentistry is a guarantee. And so for me, if I can eliminate those margins of error by using digital dentistry, using AI, then that is helpful for me. And it gives confidence in a field that people do not have a lot of confidence in. So that is a place where I'm like, man, God, I graduated almost 20 years ago and we were still writing up paper charts, right? Like I was literally still writing charts. And to now have a CBCT in my office, we have a robot for implant placements, iTeros and CareStreams and all these other digital experiences that for me eliminates it decreases the margin of error. Of course, we're still human, and the patients that we're still working on are still human. And so there's going to be some things that we cannot predict. But if we have 9 out of 10 that are successful because we're utilizing all the aspects of of digital dentistry and computers to help us, then that's where I am now. And I will tell you that it's come such a long way. And I mean, God, I think it prolongs our dental careers, to be honest with you. If you can manage the stress and the anxiety and some of the other things that come with being a dentist, digital dentistry just really, truly can prolong your career.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. So how many team members, doctors do you have on staff right now?
So at my flagship, which is Elite Dental Wellness, it's 4 of us total. So that includes me. So there's 3 other doctors.
Mhm.
Dr. Tam Willis, Dr. Sarah Glenn, and Dr. Lindsay Miller.
Okay.
And then at my pediatric location, which is called Giggles and Grins, that has Dr. Rachel Porter, soon to be Dr. Rachel King. I'm getting married in like a month. And so Dr. Rachel King is the general dentist, is the pediatric dentist over there.
Wow. Okay. And then do you kind of like do some type of I don't know, math computation or uh how would you say, just figure out who actually, like you said, dentistry is creative, and I would assume to some extent the what do you okay, I'm
Mm.
words right now. This one area registered
Dental, dental hygienist.
hygienist. Thank you so much.
Right.
I couldn't pull that out for nothing.
No,
So do you have like 3, 4 um, dental hygienists on staff, or how does that work? How do you determine whether or not you need this many versus that many?
so that's determined by workflow and demand. So my office currently has 5 hygiene chairs. That means that we could have up to we do something called assisted hygiene. So my hygienists have assistants, and so I have 3 hygienists on the floor almost every day except Fridays.
Hmm.
I have 2 that work 4 days a week, 1 that works 2 days a week, and then I'm looking currently for another to work 3 days a week.
Oh,
So I am like kind of adding more to that dental hygiene, but each doctor should be able, so when there's 1 doctor on the floor, they should be able to take care of 2 hygiene columns. And the state of Texas mandates how many hygienists per doctor. So you
oh,
have 4 hygienists and 1 doctor.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
Texas, there's a law that a hygienist cannot have you cannot have over too many hygienists per doctor at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. So that is interesting. And so do you guys, are you all open 7 days a week or 6 days a week? How does it work?
No, 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 no. We're only open 5 days a week. We work Monday through Friday.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I know when you get so many hygienists in and I don't know, you can tell me better than I'm sure that that kind of pushes the envelope on how many doctors you're going to actually need to keep up with the hygienist.
Correct. Correct. You also have to know how many patients you have. There is some math involved. So based on the number of active patients, the number of active recare, patients that are overdue, that determines how many hygiene chairs you need, which then backs you into how many doctors you need.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So you have one over at the pediatric and you have, I mean, meaning dentist. Uh,
Uh-huh.
And then four counting yourself in the flagship space.
Correct.
Wow, wow. So what does a day look like in Dr.
On
Batiste?
on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I see patients. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, I see patients. I wake up at the same time every day. On the best days, I work out in the morning. I'm not a morning person, so if I don't get it in, it is perfectly fine. I will try to get that workout in when I get home. I really try to push myself into this like maximize every hour of the day thing, and I was like, that's really great. I think that that is a wonderful way to think. And I do think that it is important for people to get up early, but that's just not my ministry, and I'm not gonna make that my ministry. And so I if I wake up in the morning and I can work out, great. But my I have my two youngest are still at home. My oldest is in college, so my two youngest are still at home. We get up, we get ready for school. The baby goes to first grade. The sixth grader goes to sixth grade. If my husband's in town, I'm taking them to school. I'm making breakfast. My husband travels for work. He sells heart valves for Medtronic. He's in the cardiovascular field. And so he sells heart valves. So he may or may not be in town. So when he's in town, he's a wonderful asset. We are a team. But when he is not there, I am, I call it my single mom duty. Like I'm a single mom when he is not home. And so we get up, we get going. My schedule right now is based on the fact that I have to get the kids to school. And so I start seeing patients at 9 on Mondays, Tuesdays, and no, I'm just kidding. I get to my office for 8:30 to 8:45 Monday, every day, even when I'm not seeing patients. On Mondays, I don't start seeing patients until 11. That's our late day. So we do split shifts. One doctor comes in at 9, one doctor comes in at 10, and I come in at 11. And so we're a 9 to 7 office that day.
Oh, wow.
Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, we're 9 to 5. I do not see patients on Wednesdays. I have been seeing them lately because I've been doing a lot of all on X surgeries. And so those are just all day procedures. And so I've been here on some Wednesdays lately, but typically I don't because that's my CEO day. That's a day for me to ensure that the practice is still running. What do we need? What systems need to be modified? Who do I need who do I need to delegate to do such things? I do have an executive assistant. She does help me a lot. Um, Thursdays I see patients again, and Fridays are typically my off day. That's the day that I make sure I like get hair and nails and massages, and if I want to shop or I want to go have a drink or two with my friends for lunch, that's the day that I do that. Or today, I mean, I spoke at my daughter's school for career day. So Fridays are that. And then Saturdays and Sundays, my kids are very busy. I have a gymnast, and before my daughter graduated, she was a water poloer. So I have a gymnast, I have a water poloer, and I have a select baseball and 7-on-7 footballer. So we are very busy. And I'm extremely grateful because I have been able to curate a life that is very full and very blessed. And we have help, of course, which I'm grateful for.
That is phenomenal. I mean, that is a lot of work. And getting children off to their games and things like that, aside from school during the week. Yeah, on the weekend, it's probably busier than the weekdays, huh?
It is. It tends to start, most weekends start earlier than I would prefer because of baseball. Baseball, Logan has to be out there sometimes at 7, and those fields maybe 45 minutes to an hour away. So I'm waking up earlier some Saturdays and Sundays than I do during the week. But I will tell you, me and my husband talk about this all the time. I don't know what the heck we're going to do when we're done with these kids because we love cheering for them. We love supporting them. We love seeing them grow. We love seeing their little wins and how they're getting better each time. And so when my daughter was done, my oldest, I was like, man, this is really hard for me. Like this is her last time in the pool. And I was like, this is hard for me. Of course now I'm cheering her on in a different way, but just supporting our children and being the first ones there and the last ones to leave is just very important for us.
To be you're a super mom. To be a businesswoman, to be a dentist. uh, professional, skilled dentist professional in every way, and then come back home and take care of the babies.
Yeah, yeah.
And you said breakfast too? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we eliminated a lot of junk food in our homes,
Yeah.
in our home due to just kind of the crap that we put into our body. So now it's like real breakfast in the morning. Someone said, "Oh, you're cooking like it's Saturday breakfast." I'm like, I know. It's eggs and pancakes and toast and biscuits and like it's real breakfast. Just because cereal's just kind of full of sugar. And it's easy. It is easy and it's quick. And I'm not a morning person. So this is coming from someone who is
Right.
loathing waking up for this. And I also don't eat breakfast. So like I'm also not a breakfast person. So to wake up and to make sure that my kids have a great breakfast is not like that's not my dream, but it is something that they deserve. So like they have not had cereal for breakfast in I think like 6 months.
That's awesome. That's great. That's I mean, like, as you kind of alluded to earlier, talking about how it is important for people to realize that dentistry should be one of the main things you do because that's where it started. When you eat, something's going on there, right? And if it's sweet, you're really gonna have to see the dentist because ultimately, things start to decay, right? Uh, in terms of marketing, how do you approach it today, and how did you have to approach it last? I mean, when you first started your business.
So, the gift and the curse of modern time is social media, right? It's a gift and it's equally a curse. If it were up to me, it would all be obliterated. I loathe it, even though I'm good at it. I think that it's just such unfortunately it's a depiction that we curate, and it's not to me always the most accurate thing. But here we are, right? So we do a lot of social media content. Some of it is and you'll see it and you'll be like, oh my God, she's great. And I'm like, yeah. But it's something that we have to do. It's something that is important for exposure. It's also something to me, which is what I shoot for in my content creation, is to ensure that people can see me as who I actually am authentically.
Yes.
I try to put a bunch of like, of course, I'm gonna have have some makeup on and not look like I just rolled out of bed. But I do think that it's also okay to say, yeah, I don't look like this when I wake up in the morning, and this took 20 minutes for me to get my life together. And I laid on the floor of my bathroom and said, do I really want to do this? Right. Like, I think that it's okay to say that. I also think that it's okay to tell people a story on social media that is authentic. So, social media is about storytelling. And I think that that's where we are today.
Mhm.
Based off of what 20 years ago when I graduated, we still had the yellow pages, right? It was still a lot of commercial ads on TV. And I do think that TV ads still work, to be fair. I do think that TV ads still work. But they were the intro to get in as far as cost was lower. And the impact was you could feel a little bit better because you didn't have Netflix and you didn't have Disney Plus and you didn't have Hulu. And people had to kind of watch commercials. Now it's like people don't have to watch commercials. And so you don't really know where that impact is. There was a lot of radio advertisements. The radio is different today too, right? Because people hook their, as my son says, give me the aux, right? He wants the aux. So we're listening to whatever he wants to listen to that has nothing to do with commercial ads. So
Mm.
it's much different. You still do have to spend like that, the recommended is about 4% of your income on ads. And I mine is almost double that because of the market that I'm in, right? So I'm in the middle of Houston. There's a dentist, and if I throw a rock, I'm gonna hit a dentist each and every way I throw it. And that is okay. That is okay. I think competition can only make you better. And you should want some competition to not be mediocre.
Mhm.
And so I don't mind the competition, but in Houston, to be seen, you have to spend the money. And so we back then it was mailers and phone calls, heavy word. Now it's more, you got to have social media, you got to be visible, you need to pay for ads and all of that to be seen, especially in a market like Houston. Um, the good news for me, in my opinion, is because we're such a unique practice that it, of course, how I feel, we're the best of the best, but I do think that our brand kind of speaks for itself at this point, but our brand is an easier tool because we're all unicorns. We're all Black female dentists, and that is a unicorn in and of itself.
Mm, mm. What, yeah, okay. So when we're looking at the marketing aspect, I mean, is that something that you like manned yourself, or do you bring in specialists that actually do it a different kind of way? I don't know. How do you approach that? The market.
Well, I think you should always. This is just my opinion. My degree is not marketing. I do not study marketing. I do not have time to study analytics and numbers and ROI and what's working over here. And let me go on the back end of your website to see the like. You should leave that to the professionals. That's my opinion. Now, I will also say this is that marketing to me is also kind of like finding something in the dark. Because it's similar to it's a you're practicing an art and it's no guarantee. And so if any marketing person is like, I promise you you're gonna get, no, you can't promise me. You can say that our goal is to get. Um, this is how we're going to do it. This is the avenues that we're going to use. But marketing is still such a very indirect, uncertain, gray part of our world that it is tough to spend the money and to feel good about it. I mean, and so yes, I do not do this on my own. I don't come up with it. I kind of I hire the people. They say this is what we're doing. I say okay, great, let's shoot. Um, I have I have a Spanish. I have a couple of Mexican employees, a Venezuelan employee, um, Ecuadorian employee, and so we're doing a Spanish speaking ad today. It wasn't my idea. I came in today and I was like, "What are y'all doing?" They're like, "We're making a Spanish speaking ad. What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, okay, great." Like they're doing their hair, the makeup. I was like, "Okay, great." Like, and so anyway, no, I do not have time to curate those ideas.
Yeah,
That's not my strength.
you
And
just yeah.
no, I do believe that some doctors out there are really good at that. They're like, okay, so this is what we should do. And I have a friend who's great at marketing. That's her jam. I'm like, girl, God bless you, right? Let me focus on my systems. Let me focus on some other stuff. And let me pay the other people to kind of guide me through it.
Well, one of the things that I think that you've noticed, I don't know whether it was right away or at what point you did, but the fact that you know you have to show who you are authentically is just, I mean, spot on, I think, you know. Um, and I'm sure that's something that you expressed to your marketing people.
Yes, I'm a little bit of pain in the ass when it comes to that. I'm like, I would never say that, nor would I never do that. So I'm not about to do that for this ad, for this commercial, for this clip. Like, there's other doctors here that may be more of their personality type. So go ask them to do it, but I'm not gonna do that. Now it's not like an ethical thing. Like I'm not like that's unethical or that's tacky. I'm just like, I don't talk like that. I don't think like that. I That's not me. I would say it like this. And they're like, no, you can't say it like that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Find another doctor to do it. You know what I mean? But thankfully, at this point in time, I do have such a plethora of amazing women that I work alongside of that there is another doctor that's like, oh, sure, okay. And they'll do it. Right. And I also, because it's no longer just me in here anymore, I do like to put those doctors on their own pedestals because I don't do fillings anymore. I don't do some of the simple things. So if I'm the only face of the practice, then it becomes really confusing when a patient's like, I want to see Dr. Batiste, and Dr. Batiste doesn't even work every day, and you coming in here and you need some stuff she doesn't even do.
Yeah, right. So tell me a little bit more about your team. How do you go about hiring your team, and how long have you had? Who's your longest, your most senior employee there? I mean,
So,
how long
um,
have they been around, I should say?
so my longest tenured employee is my main clinical assistant. His name is Ricardo. We're going on 10 years in August. So he's my longest. And then I think I have somebody else who's been here for 7 years, and then somebody else who's been here about 5. My my last associate, so I'm now on, one of my associates went to pediatric residency at my blessing, of course. She went to pediatric residency, but she was with me since 2020, and she left last year, 2024. Um, my other one of my associates is one of my best friends. So we've been best friends for longer than we've been coworkers. And then my other 2 associates, I think the average is about 3 years. So and then team members wise, it's like 7 and 4, and but with the expansion going from 6 ops to 10, I have a lot of newer team members, just because we had to expand. And when we expanded, I had to hire, God, 5 more people or something like that.
That's awesome. So that's a really good 40%. I would roughly say maybe five, even, I mean, 50% is a really good number, I would think, in terms of having people, you're not having that revolving door, if you will, people coming and leaving.
Yeah, I will say that as of more recent, I am quicker to fire. So slower to hire and quicker to fire. That's always been kind of something that's been a little bit harder for me.
Hmm.
Now that I'm not on the floor as much, I can see easier what someone is bringing or not able to bring to the practice, and I'm able to either coach them up quick or get them out quick. And so yes, the having security, and having, kind of, when you come in, who's here, and you're good, you're like, oh my God, I'm not seeing new faces every time I come in. That is something that in the dental field people just really prefer, and I respect that. I do. But it is important for, as we grow, especially as we have over the last 4 years, that the people, even though they've been here for long and loyalty means the world, you have to be able to adapt to the change and step up to the larger task.
You know, you have quite a bit to say. Have you wrote a book yet?
Oh God, no. No, but thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
you do. I mean, there's a lot you can help a lot of people. I mean, you're already doing that, obviously, by actually doing the work. I mean, like just, being physically there and mentally there, obviously, but then and you're feeding a lot of homes and things like that. All these ideas you have, I don't know why you should have somebody sitting down next to you and just write whatever you say down, and then it'll be a book.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen,
Think about it.
I've been telling my dad to write a book for like 25 years, so he's got to go first.
So you're gonna put it on him, right?
He's
Okay. Okay. All right. So what's next for you?
Well, right now, to be honest with you, it's just continue to grow the practices. Giggles and Grins is a baby. It's not even a baby. I mean, I'm still pregnant with Giggles and Grins. Um, that's a practice that needs to really grow. I'm excited for it, but it's a heavy lift.
Yeah.
Um, Truly systemizing this practice, becoming systems based and not people based, is very important for me right now, because we are busy, but to ensure that we don't feel like we are losing our minds,
Hmm.
to ensure that we are systems based.
Hmm.
Um, and then as far as my personal goal would be to just maintain a healthy balance, and balance is never a word I like to use, but healthy balance in making sure that I'm continuing to like work out and continuing to drink my water and take my vitamins, and the things that really do keep me going, do those things. And I mean, and to maintain intentionality with my relationships that are not work based. So my friendships, calling people who need those phone calls, because I'm not a big talker, calling people that need the phone calls, texting people that don't mind the text, making sure that I'm meeting up for lunches, showing up in those spaces with intention. It's just something that I started about a year and a half ago, and it just feels good. So I'm going to make sure that I continue to do those things.
That reminds me of a book called Happy.
Ah, there
You
we
know,
go.
an emotional bank accounts, if you will.
Yeah.
Making deposits, you
Make
know.
deposits.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Make
That's wonderful. That's
yes.
wonderful. So then what have we missed? We talked a lot. You have a lot to say, and I know you have a lot more. But what if I missed anything, and I'm sure I did, um, what would you share with those that are coming into the business and want to really do well? What is it that you want to share with them?
So I will definitely say that if you're coming into dentistry in 2025 or you're a new grad, that work ethic will always go further than like how you love dentistry. You have to put in the work. You have to work long hours. You have to do some sacrificing. A lot of the younger doctors today really don't want to do that. They want to kind of have this kind of easier path to success. And then they see their numbers stagger or they see that they're not hireable. And it's because they're not doing the extra work. You did not learn everything in dental school. And you're not going to learn anything if you're not working. And so do the work. Sacrifice some Saturdays, sacrifice some weekends to learn. Spend a lot of money on continuing education because it will come back to you. Cross your T's and dot your I's. Be better than the person next to you. Practice and inhale dentistry. And eventually you'll look up and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm actually really good at this and I can do this in my sleep. And then you can cut back on some of the absorbency, but you need to be a lifetime learner and know that to be great in this field, it requires some sacrifice.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you just to like pick your brain for a couple of seconds or whatever, or shoot an email to you, how would they do that?
So the best way is to email me. My executive assistant combs through my emails, tries to make sure that I respond to the ones that are pertinent. And so email me is always the best. Do not DM me. God knows that it'll take me 6 weeks to look at a DM. So Dr. Dr. Batiste at elitedentalwellness.com. That's my email. It'll get answered. I promise you, maybe not immediately, but it'll get answered. And so that would be the best way to reach out to me.
Dr. Batiste, I want to thank you so much for joining us at the Wealthy Dentist podcast this afternoon. This has been very invigorating. I mean, I hear all of the energy behind your voice and all of the things that you've done with your business, with the office as a clinician, with your family. It's just totally inspiring. It's impactful, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree with me when they take a look at this. Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
The Wealthy Dentist podcast is built on connections, opportunities, and meaningful conversations that help jumpstart careers and boost the ROI on your business. Is there a topic you're passionate about or someone in the dental community who should share their story with us? We want to hear from you. Email your suggestions to the Wealthy Dentist Podcast at gmail.com, and let's create content that informs, inspires, and uplifts the dental world. Your ideas could spark our next big conversation. Let's make it happen. I'm Ward Powell, your host at the Wealthy Dentist Podcast, thanking you for being a part of our journey.